You are listening to the Daily Gospel Reflections with Sister Cloth. This podcast is brought to you by the Paulines Multimedia. It is our mission to bring the Word of God to all peoples through sounds and images, voices, and music. Come and join us as we share with you a thought a day. Our reading for today is lifted from the Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 14, verses 22 to 36. Jesus made the disciples get into a boat and precede him to the other side of the sea while he dismissed the crowds. After doing so, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When it was evening, he was there alone. Meanwhile, the boat, already a few miles offshore, was being tossed about by the waves, for the wind was against it. During the fourth watch of the night, he came toward them, walking on the sea. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. "It is a ghost," they said, and they cried out in fear. At once, Jesus spoke to them, "Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid." Peter said to him in reply, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." Jesus said, "Come." Peter got out of the boat and began to walk on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw how strong the wind was, he became frightened, and, beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me!" Immediately, Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him and said to him, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" After they got into the boat, the wind died down. Those who were in the boat did him homage, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." After making the crossing, they came to land at Gennesaret. When the men of that place recognized him, they sent word to all the surrounding country. People brought to him all those who were sick and begged him that they might touch only the tassel on his cloak, and as many as touched it were healed. Welcome back and have a delightful day. To cap the reading, St. Matthew ends with, "After the people of that place recognized him, they sent word throughout the region and brought all who were sick to him and begged him that they might touch even the fringe of his cloak, and all who touched it were healed." We can imagine scores of people following Jesus wherever he went. Frantic people who are restless and impatient as they queue for Jesus to cure their illnesses. We envision people who may not be interested in listening to what Jesus might teach them, but they are simply there to ask Jesus to use his power for their benefit. Yes, of course, to be healed of their various ailments. One question crops up after getting what they wanted and receiving the favors granted to them by Jesus. How many of them have said thank you to Jesus? But did Jesus expect a thank you in the first place? He probably did not even count on that at all. Jesus wanted to reach out to as many people as possible, regardless of their intention to use him for personal gain. He did not seem to resent that they went to see him because they needed something from him, no more, no less. Well, have you experienced a similar plight with people you thought were befriending you, but only to know they were good to you simply because They needed something from you. How did you take that? Now that you understand their motive, how would you deal with them? Would you still accommodate future requests? Maybe you will, but of course, I'm not saying we should condone bad behavior or allow people to abuse us. But when these exploitative people need service, it is always better to do it out of charity and mercy and do what is within our capacity. After all, God knows how to reward every good act that we do. Jesus himself did it and invited us to do the same. Be with us again tomorrow as we share with you a thought a day. Meanwhile, you can follow us and listen to other Apple and Google podcasts on Spotify, produced by Paulines Multimedia. Have a good day.